Hey everyone, Jason here. So now that we finished stripping the deck, we're going to prepare to do the fiberglass on the underside of the deck as well as on the top of the deck. So the first thing we're going to do is go along and remove any of the brad nails or finishing nails that we used to nail down the cedar strips while we were stripping it out. Take some care removing the finishing nails. Just use a little scrap piece of cedar strip and place it underneath your hammer to prevent the hammer from denting the cedar strips as you pry the nail out. Also try to remove the nail straight out instead of coming out at an angle, which will make the hole larger. Once we've finished removing the finishing nails, we're going to go along and just look over the deck for any gaps between the cedar strips. You might already know where there are some from when you were gluing them up. Once we've located any of these holes or gaps, what we're going to do is just take some masking tape and tape over them. The reason we're doing this is because in a moment we're going to fill those gaps with some thickened epoxy, and we're going to fill it from the underside. So the masking tape on the top side of the deck is going to prevent the thickened epoxy from seeping through. Although it's not necessary, you can fill the nail holes by just using a simple round toothpick. Just like we did gluing up the cedar strips, simply apply a small amount of wood glue to your toothpick and then push it into the nail hole. Simply wait until the glue's dry and then trim off the excess toothpick. Alright, so now that we have the finishing nails out of the deck, it's loose and we're able to lift it up. Now, you need to be careful removing the deck, but what we're going to do is we're just going to move it over and set it on top of a couple sawhorses temporarily. From there, I'm just going to create a new cradle that fits the deck. Alright, so I'm just setting up for the next step now, which is going to be sanding the underside of the deck. What I've done so far is I've taken the deck off the Kayak and laid it out into a cradle that I made. Then I removed all the masking tape, and then I filled any of the gaps with some thickened epoxy, and I let it cure this time overnight because I'm going to sand it. You remember previously when we did the inner hull, I did the fillet and then laid out the cloth at the same time. Well, this time I'm going to be sanding it, so I let it cure overnight. So when I did the thickened epoxy, what I did was I mixed up a combination of the cellophil with the wood flour, and the reason why I did that was sometimes the wood flour comes out quite dark as the thickened epoxy, and in contrast, mixing the cellophil, it comes out like a creamy white. So mixing the two, it just brings down the darkness of the wood flour a bit and just makes it less noticeable in any of the gaps. If you were to see them when we flip it over from the top side, it just makes it a bit of a better blend. Now, it's something that you don't need to do. You can use thickened epoxy, or you could use the cellophil, or a combination of the two. And aside from the ratio of mixing the epoxy, how you combine the cellophil with the wood flour is completely up to you. So yeah, so the next thing is I just need to remove some of these high bumps from the wood glue that squeezed through when I laid up the strips. So what I'm going to just do is use a random orbital sander, and I've got 60 grit paper here. Now 60 is going to tear through quite quick, and if you use 60, you need to just basically move quickly and don't gouge down with the edge of your sander. Try to keep it flat and just keep moving, and just gauge how much you're taking off. But I find 60 grit paper will take it off quite quick. The other thing is if you're not comfortable with the 60, you can use an 80 or 100. It'll just take a little bit more work, really not that much more. So really it's your choice again, your preference, and what you have available. Once I've sanded down with my 60, I'm not going to do another finish sand. It'll be smooth enough. Like I said, it's the underside of the deck. It doesn't have to be picture perfect because nobody will ever see under there. I just want it to be smooth and flat enough that when I lay the cloth down, there's no major, divots, gaps, bumps that will hold the cloth up. I want it to lay nice and flat over the whole surface of the deck. So yeah, I'm gonna get to it. Okay, well, I'm just gonna finish up with the sanding here, and then in the next episode, we'll lay up the fiberglass cloth on the underside of the deck. Now, I'd like to ask you, if you're enjoying the series so far, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, give the video the thumbs up, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment in the video. All right, thanks for watching.